Hello, welcome back to Almost Cult Classics, the podcast. Joe Ramone here with my friend and co-host Ryan Lancello.
Hello.
This is a very different yet special episode of Sidetracks because if you follow us on YouTube and other socials, you'll know that we made a little short.
Indeed.
And we figured it'd be a good opportunity to talk about how that came to be, what the process was like, and what we learned. We had some laughs along the way. We had some stresses,
tears, yeah.
But it was a really fun, interesting process. Doing a 37-hour film for Smodcastle Cinemas, which is Kevin Smith's theater in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey, which is about an hour and a half from us. So we figured we've been talking about doing a short for months and years now.
Yeah, and it's like, I got this idea, I got that idea, I got this idea, and it's kind of hard to nail, like just be like, all right, we're going to do this.
We figured just signing up for this and just seeing what happens would be a fun way to do it.
Yeah.
And we went in with kind of a couple of ideas that because the thing was, we knew we would get a list of requirements March 9th, which was a Saturday at 10 a.m., and we would have until that Sunday at midnight to do it. So we weren't sure how restrictive the criteria was going to be. We figured it couldn't hurt to maybe have some ideas, but after a while, you even said, you're like, we're probably just going to, once we get, it will all click once we get those requirements. I kind of did,
because I remember I had like the whole week leading up to that, I had this idea in my head about, remember it was like the detective with the voiceover, and like, I was coming up with all these scenarios and like things we could shoot. Fucking went out the window.
Yeah, there was no way we can do it.
I still think it's a good idea, but I was like, no, this is not ejected, gone.
Yeah.
Like, and then we got the requirements.
Oh, sorry, I was sure it was starting to play. I wanted to check the requirements because I put them in the description.
Okay.
So here were the requirements. One was a prop, a hockey stick, which must be used in some form of action. 2 was the character, Rick Darris. Let's embody the true essence of the character.
Do you remember what I said when you said that to me? Mm-mm. Who the fuck is Rick Darris? I was all pissed off. So I was like, I don't know who this is, because it was a Kevin Smith, blah, blah, blah.
And 3, the dialogue, which was, how come we went out as long as we did? You had cable. So we've seen Kevin Smith's movies.
Sure.
We're not enough well-versed that we could instantly recall who the character was.
I would not call myself a fanboy.
So we should say that the only thing we kind of had going in was, let's shoot in a motel room.
Well, it was like maybe a Wednesday or Thursday before, you were like, you just said it to me. You're like, what about a motel? I was like, oh shit, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's good. Like it's a set ready to go. You have some control over it.
Yeah, well, you and I both live in apartments and houses that's like, it's so us. It's so identified with personal stuff, and it's so hard to clean that up and just make it. And we didn't want that. We wanted a neutral location.
For another thing, that 21-day film festival, I used my parents' house. And like, I had to fucking move everything around. Like, it was a pain in the ass. Like, it was really an enormous pain in the ass. But yeah, that's like when you have your place set up, it's kind of, if you want to make it a set, you have to.
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, you got to find the shit to put it. Like, imagine, look at my place, this shoebox.
Yeah,
where would I move everything into that? Yeah, you couldn't even do it.
And the other thing we had locked in was a friend of ours who's an actor, Ben. We had locked him in for it. So beyond that, we had nothing. And we got those requirements, and I would say within like maybe half an hour, we kind of had at least formulated a late.
I think if that we were sitting in your place, I was like, all right, let's go walk around.
Yeah. Well, we watched Rick Darris' scene from Clerks.
Yeah.
And he comes off as just kind of like a conceited, egotistical bro who's like a trainer.
Yeah, like a musclehead kind of.
So using that and the idea of the motel room and the hockey stick, we kind of just. It really, it didn't take us very long.
No, we were like, well, where is he now?
Yeah.
Where did his life...
Where's Rick Darris at now?
Where did this life go? Because what was Clark's 30, 40 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Weird.
So we thought it'd be fun to visit him in middle age, where he's a sports equipment salesman traveling to these shitty motel rooms, and it's kind of his last days alive. And we only had Ben for that Saturday.
Yeah.
So...
It's all about 6.
Then we kind of talked about, well, what if we do like a bookend of people at a cemetery talking about him? That way we can space it out. The whole short is not just Ben doing this thing.
Right.
And we can bookend it, and that worked. So, it all came together pretty quick, and we were doing research of the character. We discovered that in Mallrats, he's also mentioned as having banged the Gwen Turner character on a pool table at a costume party while she was dressed as the bandit and he's Smokey. So one of our Patreon supporters has sent us a bunch of Burt Reynolds stuff.
I was going to ask you, I forget what happened. Did you say, hey, should we take this?
I think I was, because
we were packing up all our gear, because we're going to go to the motel.
Yeah, and we just happened, I said, we were going to use the DVD you see in the suitcase. We were going to do something with that. It didn't end up working out. We ended up cutting that for time. But it was a fun just little nod to
serendipitous.
This guy has kind of grown old being obsessed with Burt Reynolds because of this sexual experience he had. But yeah, so...
We were not selected for the festival, by the way.
We should say this.
Not selected.
We were not selected.
Did not screen.
We are outraged.
Nah, it's fine. Who cares?
It's totally fine. And the first place winner goes on Kevin Smith's YouTube channel. The short will play at the theater. And, it's like we have a pretty decent following on YouTube with the stuff we've done. So it's no real loss. People still get to see our short. It's a good opportunity for other filmmakers to get their work seen.
It's just, you want to get seen.
It was seriously, the main reason we did it was that we were so rusty.
We're very, yeah.
And, that being said, I'm very proud of what we did.
I love it.
It's not what I expected we would do. I think even as it
kind of took me off guard a little bit with the finished product. I was just like,
when it started taking shape, I think we were surprised at how dark it was.
Yeah,
and
which that's my taste, man. You just heard me rail against like soft movies and stuff. Like I'm a miserabilist a little bit. You know what I mean?
I'll say,
but it's very funny to me. Like there's something about that. Like we've all been that guy in the hotel room.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like there's something very there's a communal feeling there. We've all had despair like that.
Yeah,
and been like, I was the man, or I'm still the man. Like, so there's something you can find that humorous. I think is that like, oh shit, I see myself in this loser.
So you were adamant that once we decided this was going to be the way we do it, we text Ben and say, get a suit together. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to play this character. And we set about looking at motel rooms, and you were like, it has to be a smoking room. You wanted the character to smoke cigarettes.
I wanted it to be. I wanted a shitty room. Mm-hmm. Like this is where he's ended up. You know what I mean? Yeah, and you want him with the cigarette. You know, but
and there were a few options like in Jersey. And we were based out of downtown Philadelphia for this, but we ended up. It seemed like the best option we found was we're not going to name it. It was a chain motel up in the Oxford Valley area, which is like northeast Philadelphia. And we said, you know what? Let's get all this stuff together. We'll get up there. Then we'll try to find the hockey stick, because we had no hockey stick. And we'll settle it all there. We'll get set up. We'll do it. We drive up there, probably about 25-minute drive to get up there.
Yeah.
And we stop at, I think Target was our first stop. And Target... Hey, look, if you need tennis rackets, if you want golf clubs, if you want anything but a fucking hockey stick, they're going to have it at Target.
No hockey stick.
So we were a little alarmed at that point.
Clock's ticking.
Clock is ticking. We're like, okay.
This is a shitty day, too. It's gray.
It was gray. It was awful.
Rainy.
It was rainy.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful day.
We had to be up early. We were up and ready to go by 10. And so
I was at your place at 10.
As soon as they came in. Yeah. So we're like, all right, Walmart. Again, if you guys want to play tennis, like, dude, it seemed like everything but hockey sticks.
Yeah.
So that was another blow. And again, each time we were getting in the car, driving over, it's just time is wasting away.
It's wasting, and it's your energy's wasting.
And
too.
you were starting to get really ticked by this. You were like, this is what I hate. This is the prop. I hate this. No, it's like it's inconvenience. Like it's just.
Well, it's so aggravating because you just want to get to it. Yeah. I want to make the movie.
We were so optimistic driving up there, and then we're just like we started to panic a little bit.
You start to get
the third stop was we saw there was a Dick's Sporting Goods outlet.
Perfect, right?
An outlet.
Perfect.
They're gonna have everything. No.
Nothing.
They had not even a puck available.
No.
It was just clothing.
And now I'm despair.
And there was also, like, in the shopping center it was at, there was a billiard hall.
Like that Russian
that had Russian writing. It was like a very strange, dude. It was like, it was very uncomfortable. There were strange people everywhere.
And it was a disgusting day.
If you live up that way, it's just not a pleasant area.
It's an odd area.
It's very odd.
Yeah.
So.
I'm getting pissed at this point.
You're getting pissed, and you're like, you know what? All right, I'm going to go get the beer and cigarettes that we're going to use for the scene. So you went to a beer mart that was near the...
It was like right in the shopping center
around there.
Or whatever.
I start making phone calls, and just anywhere where there's a sporting goods store in the area, I'm calling up. And just because that's the other thing. We're wasting time driving over there for them not to have it. So shout out to the Lloyd Sixsmith Sporting Goods store, which was it seemed like a mom and pop, tiny little sporting goods store.
It was doing brisk business while we were in there.
I called up on the phone and I'm like, "Do you have any hockey sticks?" And the girl who answered the phone goes, "We have them, but they're not your typical." And I just said, "That's fine." I said, "We just need one to use for a film festival we're doing. Can you hold one for us?" Like, "Yeah, sure." I said, "We'll be there in like 10 minutes." So we drive there, and they had one left in stock.
One hockey stick
left. To this day, I don't know why it's not a typical hockey stick. It certainly looks that way. It might be a little.
Was it aluminum?
I don't know.
It might have been that.
I don't know, but. Thank you.
Yeah, dude.
For all of your
I don't know what we
family sporting goods needs, if you're in the area, check them out, because not only did they cut us I think they did cut us a deal on it, but they also, when we were gathering more props, they're like, they knew what we were doing, so they're like, "We'll get that one. It's a little bit cheaper."
Yeah,
They helped us out a lot.
They didn't help sell us.
They helped us out. So we just wanted, that was the thing. Like, we also needed like footballs and tennis balls. We wanted to like load him up with sporting goods stuff. So we got all that. Next stop is going to the hotel.
But this is one of those things where if you don't, it's easy to talk about. This is the other thing too. We talk about movies, we shit on them all the time. It's like, well, we better be able to perform a little bit. I'm not expecting us on a 37-hour film with me and you did everything.
And well, here's the thing:
there's no crew. It's me, you, and an actor.
You and I have worked together on this podcast. We used to shoot weddings together, and we one time were involved in a live sketch show that we wrote some stuff together for. And it always went well. There was never like but we've never directed performers or done anything like this before, so it was challenging in that regard. And also, we had just not done anything like this in years. Really rusty. And
until you do it, I don't think people realize there's a huge barrier to entry in filmmaking, and it's logistics essentially. Like I said, it's me and Joe doing everything. So we have to go get the props. It's not an intern. We have to figure out the sound. But it's the logistic aspect of it is, I think that's what really stops people. Like, do you want to spend 6 hours looking for a hockey stick in the rain? Not really. But that's what it takes. It's that kind of bullshit.
It's a lot of.
So just, I don't know if that's advice or just know that, man, the mountain of shit you're going to have to climb up. To start. It's really challenging. Great fun.
In hindsight, I thought it was kind of fun at the time. You were the one that was really stressed about it.
Only because we had Ben only till like 6.
I knew we would get it done, because I'm even with the sketch comedy shorts I had done in my past, like, I was very run and gun, and I knew how to maximize time. I knew how to really get the most out of it, but I know you were still stressed about it because we wanted to do it good. And
I wanted to plan shots and get lighting. And another mark of an amateur production is just, stand there, we'll film you.
Right.
Set it up your shot. And we did that this time.
And we ran through it. And
that hotel sequence it's strangely beautiful. I don't want to pat myself on the back, but that was your decision too. We were looking at stuff, and you're like, what if we did this in black and white? And I mean, I was like, yeah, brilliant. Yes.
Yeah, well, it was... I had seen I Love You, Daddy, and I wanted to tell you. No, it was honestly, like, I wanted to pay tribute to Clerks and the way that looked, but I also just thought the way that he looked in the suit and the way the motel was just black. It might have been, there was no color in it.
There was white walls.
Yeah.
The way the lights, we got amazingly lucky with those lights.
Yeah.
Just the way it was casting shadow, and generally a big blown out white light is bad.
We said that's one lack in our production knowledge that we have to get better at is lighting.
It's audio. It's our chief.
Audio too. Audio and lighting. We just overall have to get better at it. And this was it was 37 hours. We got it done, I think, in about 30 hours, actually. I think we had about 7 or so hours to spare.
Well, we shot all the hotel stuff on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, me and you just drove to a cemetery.
We did that.
Just filmed, and that was that.
We plugged in that footage. We already edited that night.
Yeah, we edited the hotel stuff after we shot it.
Yeah, so it wasn't that,
We managed our time really well here. Once we got the fucking hockey stick, it was actually beautiful time management.
So we get over to this motel with, man,
You think you want the dirtiest hotel room until you're in it.
Well, I don't know, it was more uncomfortable. It was like walking to the room.
Yes.
And hearing the sounds in the other room, which ranged from arguing, loud television, might have been some fornication happening in other rooms. It was just like you realize that this is a haven for depraved people.
And you're in it.
And
not only that, like, it's 3 guys standing in the lobby talking to this woman behind bulletproof glass.
Right.
And,
then they're gonna
she's
see
probably like, okay, whatever. Then they see us dragging in cameras and stuff. It's gay porno.
Bags of
dude, it's
equipment, a hockey stick.
Oh, they're filming a gay porno.
Yeah.
Like, what else would you think in this
well,
place?
so we get to the room, and our friend Ben starts to put his suit on. Just, we're out in the room.
We couldn't get in the room at first. Don't forget.
That's right. The room key wouldn't work, so
I ran down.
We sent you down to check on things, and by the time you got back up, we had figured out a way to get in there. And by the way, again, this is a smoking room in a shitty motel, so it's the shitty of the shittiest.
Yes.
It's a particular type of shitty.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I wanted to ask you this. How much was that room?
I think it was $130.
That's insane.
Yeah. They're still expensive, any way you slice it.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. And by the way, it's not near an airport. It's not a major travel destination.
It's just there.
It's just there for people who need a fucking... A different place than their home.
You don't realize, like I said, till you're in it, the vibe, man.
It was just like, it was so uncomfortable. So we get in the hotel room, and Ben starts to get changed.
And me and you were futzing around with the cameras or whatever.
And all of a sudden we hear a knock on the door. Like, uh-oh. And you open the door. By the way, Ben is pantsless. So Ben, you didn't know this.
I didn't know.
He kind of like angles himself. So he's holding his pants like they're on him, like in front of him, angled, and it's
this elderly,
Hispanic couple.
Probably Hispanic. Yeah, it was a gentleman with her too, and she's like, "Hello." Like, she's looking at me too.
She was looking at us like, "What the fuck is going on in here?"
You're holding. I had no idea any of this was going.
A case of beer, and it's
you're
just
holding
like
the camera. His pants are off. I had no idea, and I'm smiling at her.
By the way,
like
you opened it with the charm on.
Oh, I was total charm.
You were happy to be there at that point.
Thrilled. And I was like really happy.
She was like, "Everything okay?" And you're like, "Yeah, it's fine." She's like, "Okay, you don't need anything?" And you're like, "No, we're all good."
Yeah.
And she's like, "You need towels or something?" And what did you say?
I was like, "I don't, but I know where to come if I do."
She paused for about 3 seconds and then just cracked up laughing.
Yeah. What did you said it was someone who wasn't quite sure what the person was saying, but they could tell they were being funny. Yeah. That's why she laughed.
Yeah, she did not laugh because she understood and it was funny. She knew you were making a joke in the way you delivered it. So I think she was uncomfortable.
Then she's like, "Here, you take this." It's a roll of toilet paper. I'm like, "Well, thanks." Meanwhile, the guy's looking at me like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Yeah.
I shut the door and turn around and I see you. You're giggling, holding the camera, and Ben's got his pants off, looking at me like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And I just collapsed in laughter.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
Yeah.
And this is
by the way. Yeah, and it wasn't like you had cracked the door. Ryan had opened the door wide, almost to invite them in. Like, please have a seat. Come in. Could you like a beer? You were that like inviting to her.
I can be very friendly. I'm telling you, man, this is the funnest part of making movies. Is this kind of shit? The weird stories you get, like where you know. It's great though. I've smoked cigarettes. I don't anymore. I probably smoked close to 15 years, pack a day.
Yeah, we've talked about it on the show back in the original days of the show.
I can't believe
So I never smoked, but I was talking to Ben about this after the fact, and he was like, "Yeah, those are like the not purest, but they're like one kind of the grossest cigarettes, I guess."
Oh, Reds?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Marlboro Reds. Yeah,
they're
that's
like
what I
great
smoke.
if you're. I don't know about cigarettes. What are they like?
They're like the basic cigarette, but dude, the room.
Yeah, well, the room already stunk to begin with because it's a smoking room.
That smell was making me sick.
The character, we wanted him to start smoking, so we filmed a bunch of different takes, and Ben in his past has smoked as well, so he knew how to do it. And he was just a great. He did a lot of good touches as an actor there when things went wrong that he rolled with.
This is another thing, the mark of an amateur. Oh, my friends and family are going to be in the movie. They don't act. And they probably don't even want to be in it. But I'm forcing them anyway because I'm a movie man.
Yeah. We lucked out because we have friends that are performers, and Ben is one of them.
He's really good.
Yeah.
And it was like he was doing things that, I'm like, Joe didn't tell him to do that. I didn't tell him to do that.
It made our job easier. We were just able to concentrate on the visuals, but he was...
You ever get to direct a good actor? It's a dream. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. You get to act with them, and then it's the back and forth. And then, like I said, they surprise you with things that you're like, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
He was doing shit that I was like, whoa.
Yeah. So that was the thing for us. It just kind of became the motel room, but kind of became like a playground. We didn't have a set script. We knew there would be different set pieces.
Thing. We're in the car. We're like, Ben, me and Joe are gonna feed you lines.
Yeah.
Say them.
We knew we were going to intercut it.
Yeah.
And so it was just going to be like, let's just get this character doing a bunch of different stuff in this hotel room, and then we'll cut it in. And
we knew he died.
Yeah.
So that was it. It was just,
we knew he was going to trip over the hockey stick and die. That was going to be our use of the prop. We didn't realize how perfect the room was going to be set up for it.
We didn't do a thing in that room.
No. Yeah. The way he rested it on the wall when he came in, it was able to slip and get jammed right where the mini fridge was. Mm-hmm. It was very good timing. Yeah. And as we're doing this, we had a case of beer, so we were having a couple beers, and it was just like the smoke starts to fill up, and it really was a gross day.
I was not smoking them, but I had 2-3 cigarettes going at once.
Well, we did a time lapse shot where we wanted an ashtray full of them.
The ashtray up. Well, you have to smoke a cigarette. You can't just let a cigarette smolder.
Yeah, it's not going to do that.
No, it won't do it. So after I stunk so fucking bad.
Yeah, well, we'll get.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's cigarette burns in the blankets.
Oh man, it was.
I had Joe holding the bottom of the hockey stick so it fell straight while I was filming it. And I'm trying to get the shot lined up, and all of a sudden I hear him dry heaving. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're like, fucking nails on the foot, his fingernails.
That was being generous.
Toenail?
They were toenail. It was like big toenails. It was like right on the floor by my hand. So I'm just dry heaving. It was like, because I'm very.
Oh, it's fine. No,
I don't like that shit, man. I was very fucking.
Well, if it's any consolation, because I was making fun of him, I was like, grow up, stop being a baby. I go in the bathroom to wash my hands at one point. I grab a little hand towel and I'm washing my hands, and I'm like, what the fuck? I pull out this big clump of human hair was in the towel.
By the way, the bathroom door looked like at some point it had been kicked in,
warped.
Yeah,
the room had a hole, like a punch in the wall. That wasn't us.
No. Someone had punched a hole in the wall.
I mean, just the most miserable room you could think of. And it was perfect.
Like they had no desire even to improve. Like it's like if you're staying here, there were payphones in the lobby. Like it was a really. So
I just remember too. It's like we got so lucky though. Like it's a total shithole, but it's got vaulted ceilings. So when you see that first shot of him walking in, that enormous amount of headspace, I'm like,
it just looks bleak. And
man, we lucked out here.
Yeah,
what a gross room to be in. Though.
Yeah, Ben did a great job. I realized that you and I directing together were kind of like good cop, bad cop.
Yeah,
I don't like you. When our character trips and Kevin Smith's character, we invented a new Rick Darris. I feel like they are a little bit.
Rick Darris is ours now. We own it. Sorry, Kev.
I think that's how public domain works. I think if you use it anyway, you wanted him to keep tripping from multiple angles so we could have a lot to work with in the editing, and I don't like making an actor do stuff like that over and over again. And you were like, do it again from this angle. So it was a good team up because you were not afraid to do that.
No, I did want to beat your brains in though.
Why? Because I was giving you shit for it?
Yeah, I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Like, I called you Kubrick at one point.
Yeah, you did.
Because I just felt, and we did, we made sure it was worth it for Ben. We got his Ubers and gave him a little stipend, but
that's the one thing. I mean, I can look at that and be like, okay, I got to improve here. That's for you. It's that there's a weird awkwardness when you're directing an actor where it's like, okay, great, do it again.
That's just me socially too. It's not even.
It's also your friend Ben.
Yeah, right.
So that's weird.
Yeah, I'm a little bit closer with him than you are. So
right.
And it was a gross floor, and he had to lay on it. And
yeah, he's trooper, man.
Yeah, we were really happy with it, and that's the thing.
We were also bickering over lighting initially.
Yeah. And then we were just like, after a while, let's just do it. Let's just try it. And
but we have to bicker. We have to. One thing about me and you, we're not too ego crazy.
No.
But it's something when you get that camera in your hand, though, you do want to be like, I got this.
And that's the good thing too about when we would do weddings. I would edit it, and it would require basically me to marry the footage we shot so there's consistency. Mm-hmm. And I found that our footage was always different, but it linked up. Mm-hmm. And I think you can sense that about this short.
It's about 50-50.
Yeah,
what's in there?
We film it differently, but it all comes together.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of coverage we got. And it was just, it was like being in this strange environment. It felt fun.
It was a lot of fun. It's pouring rain and like thin walls and roof.
Yeah,
the rain's beating on the roof. Me and you were like, Ben, do this, do that. We're having a ball.
Yeah.
I would not recommend drinking on set, but we knew
had a couple beers.
Had a couple beers. It was fun. It was a blast.
You can see the shirt now. It's on our YouTube and everything. But
called Rick Darris, We Hardly Knew Ye.
The conversation that our friend Ben has on the telephone there was all ad-lib. That wasn't written.
We said, Ben,
we explained
you're calling up for a hooker. You kind of wanted to look like Burt Reynolds. Take a little bit to get there.
Yeah.
He did that.
Yeah, he nailed it.
That was one take.
Yeah.
We didn't do another take of that.
No, we did. We kept going and we cut.
Yeah, but
that initial.
But that's the thing. It's like, man, you get a good actor, they'll stun you.
Yeah.
And he just knew. He immediately picked up on what we were putting down,
right,
and ran with it in his own way, in a way that we weren't going to write that.
Yeah,
it would not have been what he did, and no one's on the phone with him either. So he's
the best. He I don't know if you were there for that, but he said when he was riding in the back seat of the car when we were driving around, he was like, "I felt like I was listening to your podcast."
we were just
That's
going funny as shit. Hey, look, we at this point, I mean, that was nice.
Yeah,
that we because it did. Like I said, we were bickering a little bit, and I gotta go. This fucking guy's gonna fight me on this, and you're probably like, oh, this cocksucker. He thinks he's like Kubrick, you know?
Yeah, no, I knew you were going to be, and I'm glad you did, because that scene was vital to have a lot of takes on, because we really had to make it look as realistic as possible.
Another thing, a mark of an amateur is when some kind of action happens or someone gets hurt, it always looks fake, and they overact, and owie, my head hurt. And I was like, no, we can shoot this the way that it will look fairly
we're not
realistic.
Have to speed it up or anything. Let it speak for itself.
I thought it looked fairly realistic.
Yeah, I mean, it required quick cutting, and I think it worked. And that's the thing that I think I even surprised myself when we came time to cut it, which editing the hats off stuff has made me such a better editor, and I have a much better sense of timing.
So I told you this. I got down on my knees and told you before we started that I was really impressed. And I really was with your camera work and stuff, because I've seen your old stuff, and, you know, not to be a dick.
No,
but
it's not. It lacks a visual...
It's just kid shit. I mean, you know, it's you're doing your kids. But I thought you fucking nailed it, man. I was really, really surprised pleasantly by how you shot things. But your editing...
hats off, made me a great editor. It's
quick.
Yeah.
So fun.
You have to be.
So fun watching you do it, because I'm sitting on a couch next to him. By the way, go to YouTube, Google Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Family Guy, when they're writing Good Will Hunting. That's kind of what it was like with me and you. But I'm sitting on the couch next to you watching you, and I'm like, do this. And like, you had it. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like, I told you, it would have taken me 3 times as long to do that, and it would have been worse. So hats off to you, sir.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you gave me a lot to work. So we wrapped filming with Ben. We got him an Uber back to his place, and then I come back in the room, and Ryan has... You look like like one of those characters, and they light a bunch of cigarettes and then throws it in everyone's mouth. You had like 5 cigarettes going.
Probably.
Because we wanted to do it was your idea, and great. We ended up using it. It was a little time...
Kind of a time lapse.
Yeah, of just an ashtray and beer cans getting piled up on the end.
And that's the thing. I'm like, well, you know, we've shot the bulk of our thing now, because what's left is me and you at the cemetery.
Yeah.
Not hard.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, we got the room.
Yeah.
So I'll fuck around. I'll do a little side, like, and I remember telling you, I was like, we don't even need to use this. Like, we just ended up using it.
We did. It was a great little thing to use. We put it in there, but you,
I love 3-4 hours later, we're checking out. And if I worked there, I'd be like, oh yeah, gay porno.
They're
in there for a couple hours.
A liquor bottle in the trash, a ton of beer, cigarettes. I think we
screaming in the room.
We were going to maybe do like a jerk off joke at a certain point, so we left like moisturizer and tissues on the nightstand. Like, we just want to get out of there. We didn't want to take anything that we didn't need.
Right.
And
I'm glad we cut that. By the way, it was unnecessary.
I agree. And we get back to my place, and like instantly, we just like get changed. Like,
I had to get a shower.
You had to get a shower.
You threw our clothes in the wash.
Yeah, I put our clothes in the washer, because it was just like, you're in the shower. I was Lysoling our shoes. Like, I was so grossed out by, and
it was really disgusting. I'm pretty good with disgust.
What was worse, the cigarettes or the just feeling your skin crawl?
It was leaving and having that smell on me again, because I haven't had it in a long time.
Yeah,
it really. Like I said, I'm pretty good with muck. When I'm in it, I'm like, what are you going to do, dude? You're in the sewer.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's that you get so coated with that cigarette smell. And I don't, like, I had, like you said, I was chiefing cigarettes.
Yeah.
So I was in a cloud of smoke. Man, that was rough. And I was just thinking, I lived like that for 15 fucking years. I know.
Well, then
never smoke inside. If you're a smoker, do not smoke inside.
Ruins the house. Well, it ruins the way rooms smell.
Everything.
Before I decided to wash your clothes, we put them in a trash bag.
Yeah.
We were like, let's just, bed bugs, you never know. It's just like...
absolutely, dude.
So
I didn't want to sit on that bed. I didn't want to touch anything.
No, we were trying to be... And that's why I give Ben credit, because he was really,
consummate actor. I can't say enough good things about him. If anyone needs an actor, and you're serious... So I'm not duking this guy's shitty work.
No. Yeah.
He's tip-top.
He was great. And that was the one... There was disappointment in the fact that, sure, we're not going to get... it was more of a fun project, but the sadness came. Oh well, Ben's not going to get.
I wanted him exposure.
I wanted
exposure for Ben.
Exposure for Ben. So that was what we were a little bummed about. But we got back, and Ryan introduced me to steak frites.
Yeah, you didn't even know.
I never had them.
Like,
and you were
what?
like, I want steak frites. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll find a French restaurant for us. And we had them, and it was great.
It's one good thing about living in a city.
Yeah.
You know.
You could find a quick place
French
around
bistro.
there. Yeah, right nearby.
I mean, we bullshitted about the day.
Yeah.
What do we want to do tomorrow?
Right.
What do we want? We went back and we tuned up a little bit more on the editing.
We did the editing a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we just ended up the next day. We got...
Have you ever told your Sopranos trick on the show?
I can.
It's so funny. And I was like, I didn't realize it until I'm watching the second episode after you left, and I'm like, he got me. He did it again.
Yeah.
Tell him what you do to me when I crash at your place.
Back when we first started to do the podcast, as we talked about, we weren't very professional with it, and we would drink a lot and
Just also during
take
COVID,
breaks.
I
And
was doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I really took it as an opportunity to be like, I'm hanging at my buddy's house tonight. I want to get drunk.
Yeah. And so we're sloppy in some of those early episodes. But another part of that was Ryan would have to crash, and we would
to
stay
Joe's
up,
delight.
we would stay up pretty late. And my trick to like, I'm ready for bed would be I would just put The Sopranos on to focus your attention.
It works every time.
And it works every time. Then I just kind of, I'll be hitting the old hay. But
I swear to God, it's in like the second episode, and like Furio's going in to like smash up the massage parlor. And I'm like, where the fuck did he go?
Yeah.
Like, God damn it, he got me.
so yeah, we hit the ground running the next day, and we did that cemetery shot. Which again, it wasn't raining, but it was cold, and the ground was wet. We
It was a
fucked
swamp.
our shoes
Dude,
up,
my shoe,
and fucking.
dude, it was a swamp at
Yeah.
that thing. You guys can't see it in the footage, but that whole grass is just deep water.
You had. I was like, wherever we can film this, wherever. You had a particular mindset in mind.
I did.
We almost left that cemetery because you weren't happy with it.
I
but
was not, and that's just once again you being like, God, this fucking guy, like,
Yeah.
just shoot the thing. But no, I didn't like how it was looking.
Yeah,
Funny enough,
it was a cemetery where a lot of Italian Americans are buried. It's like where all of my older relatives are buried. That's how I know about it.
So I talked to my dad after the fact. I go, Dad, I'm like, where was Grandpa buried? I'm like, I couldn't quite remember. And he's like, he couldn't remember the name either. And he's like, well, when you pull in, are there like a ton of mausoleums? I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it's like the go-to old school Italian.
We were in.
It's a Catholic cemetery, so a lot of Irish and Italian sounding names.
I would have paid my respects.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't.
It was just a miserable day. It was like where our socks were wet.
I had a splitting headache. It was windy, and I don't know about you. I have like weird ears. The wind the wind was whipping around
my
eardrum, and it fucks me up.
But we found a headstone that seemed to work for the shot, and the best was that was the only like bloopers we might have. You and I arguing about.
I was wrong. Yeah.
We had a very thing where like we were going to go back and forth with a no he didn't, yes he was, no he wasn't, yes he was. We said we'll do it 3 times, and every time I would do the third one, Ryan would just go, you're too many times. You're doing it 4th. I'm like, no, I'm not. And then it kept happening like 3 times.
The rust factor. I'm rusty as an actor. I realized it as I'm like, that made no big deal. We'll just get out there, and then we started. Like I said, I was fucking up. I was flubbing the count, and I started to not get the yips, but I'm like, oh man, like
yeah.
And I'm way too quick on the. You had cable.
Yeah.
Just a half.
Whatever. Our fucking
fine.
socks were wet. It was.
Plus,
it
we
was
both
just like,
hated that dialogue.
Yeah, we didn't want to.
We didn't want to do it. We had to make. We're a gay couple in the movie. Ha like I don't know.
We had to. We didn't have a choice.
There were some other people.
Yeah, we blew our one actor already.
And
he's done for the weekend.
I'm like, Joe. I'm like, because you know more people than me. I'm like, do we have like? Can we call her? Can we do?
I was just like, let's just do it.
Fuck it. And not only that. You guys haven't seen us together on screen.
Yeah, it was a good chance to do that.
So
I wore my Almost Cult Classics t-shirt, which,
you did.
By the way, they are available. Go to almostcultclassics.com. You can get some podcast merchandise.
I actually do. I have to get one of those shirts.
Yeah,
I have it.
Someone's in the YouTube comments like, where can I get one? I'm like, they're available. Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm gonna do a discount code on the store.
There you go.
I'm gonna use Rick Darris.
Yeah,
Darris. I'll do. And I'll post about this in the link when this goes live.
DERRIS.
And you'll get a little discount ordering shirts using that promo code. So check the description or just write that down and go to almostcultclassics.com and you can get some merch.
But yeah, man, good experience all around.
Yeah, it was
Would
fun.
have loved to have screened, but
yeah, it was yesterday actually. Mm-hmm. We're recording this the 24th, so 23rd was the big premiere.
Congrats to the winner.
The winners, yeah. I'm sure it was a fun...
All the nominees.
We should also say that the organizer of the festival...
Ernie O'Donnell.
Who played Rick Darris.
I had no idea. I'm like, oh, who's this guy? And I'm like, wait, he played Darris?
So I guess he runs that theater?
I think so.
Or he's involved in it.
Something like that.
And it seems like... I will give Kevin Smith credit in that...
I won't. Now go ahead on.
he like all of his friends are like involved in his businesses and stuff. You know, like he put them in his movies.
That's nice.
And they all seem to like they're still able to make money from those appearances and do things and work manage comic book shops and stuff for him. It's kind of he is all about like giving back to his friends.
Keep your friends close, man.
And so I'm almost wondering though, it was like the Rick Derris requirements, did that come all from him? And his, you know,
who knows?
Did he want as a chance to explore his character more?
I don't know. I mean, I saw some of the ones that were. It seems like it's runs the gamut. Yeah. Like Rick Derris is a piece of shit. Rick Derris is this.
And there was, from what we saw, there was a wide array of the way they were filmed. Mm-hmm. Some looked like they were filmed on smartphones. Some looked like professional cinema. Mm-hmm. Artists kind of fell in the middle. We were using these Canon cameras we used to film the weddings on, which is, another thing we'll get better. We got to play with those cameras more in the settings, exposure, white balance. There's so much there. But
it's really, I could go through it and like it's all the stuff that bothers me, but it's just a matter of lighting and just taking your time, which we didn't have.
We didn't have the time to do it. Yeah.
I'm with that in mind. I'm very happy.
Of course, yeah.
I was like
30 hours, man, pretty much. I mean, we could have had more time. It was the way we structured it that we didn't.
And like you said, it's like me and you had never really worked like this in that capacity. So there's a little nerves there where it's like, fuck, I hope we don't like suck together or like he pisses me off or I piss him off. Because I thought about that. I was like, dude, I know how you get me talking to myself in the mirror like Derris. I was like,
you're Ryan Lancello.
Don't be a tyrant. Don't step on toes. Listen to people. Like, your ideas are good, but they're not the only ones. You know what I mean? And thankfully, I took my own advice.
Yeah, well, you had said going into it, you're like, it's going to all come together and click when we get the requirements. And I was shocked at how right you were about that because I was panicked.
I wasn't at all, dude. I could tell that too. I remember texting you. I was like, "Are you getting like, are you worried about this?" Because I was like,
it's just honestly the requirements force you to kind of really think and make something work like that.
It crystallized it because we sat down. We go, okay, we watch his Clerks scene.
Yeah.
Okay. He's like, oh, I get pussy all the time. I work out. I'm that kind of guy. Then we watch the Mallrats thing. We missed the Chasing Amy thing, by the way.
What was that?
Finger cuffs.
Oh.
I'm like, well, what can we do with that?
We couldn't get it all.
Yeah, we couldn't get it all.
We could have just shown a shot of them on it would have.
Why?
Yeah.
But no, as I think it was like as we were walking to the place, we're like we said earlier, like, where is this guy now?
Yeah.
It's been how many years since Clerks? What would he have actually done with his life? Well, he sells sports equipment now.
By the way, if anyone needs a hockey stick, we'll auction it off. We'll sign it.
Sure.
If you want it.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to.
I wouldn't. I mean, it's an aluminum stick too. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I used to play hockey.
It's seriously just going to sit in my trunk until I find a place for it. So
maybe we should just keep it. It was such a struggle to get.
It's the best too because part of the sports equipment we ended up purchasing was tennis balls. We bought 2 tubes of tennis balls, and they're like my dog's favorite toy. So that worked out for him.
There you go.
And
barely visible in the shot.
We were able to give Ben the wiffle ball set and a football for his nephews. So we got to pay it back to the and
one thing I don't think we really mentioned was we were able to. And it's my own fault. It's just me. I am broke. I am flat broke. I am always dollar to dollar. It just is what it is. It's not a big deal. We cannot thank the Patreon subscribers enough. It was great. It just removed stress and having to think about the financial. Okay,
element.
we gotta get the hotel room.
Yeah, boom. We knew we had something to turn to.
We had a little scratch. So I mean, it would have been that much harder because I would have been like, "Fuck, man, gotta bust out the card again."
Yeah, now you're because it was $37 or to enter.
Yeah, which whatever.
It did add up quickly. I mean, between the Ubers and
that's the other thing I'll tell people if you want to get ready to be shocked at how much the money adds up. The costs of everything, gas, feed. Like me and you had to eat after all this. We had to go buy that.
Yeah.
Like just everything, man. But you guys helped us big time on that. So thank you.
And we're growing on Patreon, and I would love more to join us over there because we're going to try to do more of this type of stuff.
Oh, big time.
And we have to get better at it because we had so much fun doing it. And
I got the itch again. Did you not just want to like? Of course. It was.
And now the only comments we're getting is that, hey, you guys are on camera now. I appreciate the comments we've gotten that seem to actually say this is a good short and I liked it, but everyone's naturally fascinated by the fact that it's the first time. It's not like I've hidden myself. You have never appeared on the stuff we've done.
You can't help it. I remember because I was always a big talk radio fan when I was a kid. You never saw the people. And authors, too. maybe on the book jacket or something. But then you'd see these radio people, and you'd be like, "That's what you look like." There's a fascination.
It's funny that
level there, or curiosity.
One YouTube comment I replied, I was like, "That's not Ryan. That's our good friend Bob Sacamano," and someone did not get the joke. It was like, "Oh, cool, thanks."
Maybe he didn't. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But yeah, for you Seinfeld fans out there, you'll get the reference.
I got a compliment on my beard. Someone said I look like Francis Ford Coppola. So,
there you go.
You ever see those videos of him directing Apocalypse Now? He's just shirtless and his breasts are out. It's just like, I'm like, I don't want to look like that, Francis Ford Coppola.
No, you don't.
But yeah, man, it was fun. And shout out to Ben and our supporters on Patreon because they really made the process smooth. And it's there. You can check it out on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think. And we're going to try to do more.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. We will definitely do more content in the future. So again, patreon.com/almostcultclassics.